Jeff had brought me in, after XWF ended, I started a company called In Your Face Bookings, where we did outside third-party bookings, and I was doing that to make extra money while I was starting up my other business. And you know, so like, you know what I'm talking about, right? Where people would call me and say, I want to book Jimmy Snuka, and I'd get it, you know, $50 and handle all the issues. So Jeff had brought me over at one point because they were booking the talent, the TNA talent, out as third-party contractors and paying them a guarantee, and he wanted me to handle that for him. And so I went to Nashville. This was before they were in Orlando.
Right.
They flew me to Nashville. I met with him and Dixie and Bob Ryder, and they tried to set up an online website. I was too busy. My company started growing really quick, and I had to pull out. But me and Jeff had always been friends. So I had figured I'm done in wrestling. I got this company doing well, knock on wood. You know, that's behind me. Jeff called me and said, we have a spot for a ring announcer. It may just be one show, because Shane Douglas has been doing the backstage interview guy, and Shane is going to miss a couple of shows. Borash has been the ring announcer, but we're going to make Jeremy Borash into the backstage announcer, which he was much better at, by the way. Jeremy always has done a great job doing that. And so we need you to ring announce. You're close, you know, it was an hour and a half away. You know what you're doing. We don't have to train anybody. They offered me really nice money on a per deal basis. He said it could last, I'm not promising anything more than one show. It lasted 5 years. I had the best time I ever had in the professional wrestling business in TNA. I had no personal investment. In WCW, I had a personal investment because I felt like I was growing with the company and I had a future there. In XWF, I had a personal investment because I was involved in every facet of the process, from writing to booking to editing to everything. So there was always that pressure of having a personal, you know, if things don't go well, you know, not that I didn't care if TNA didn't go well. I was hired to work there. I got there. I went to the production meeting. Me and Mike Tenay and Don West would sit around the table in the production meeting room. Kevin Nash would come in and talk to us for a while. Jim Cornette would come in and talk for us for a while. Bubba Ray would come in and talk for us for a while. It would just be like, you know, 4 or 5 hours of telling stories, you know, just laughing for like 5 hours. Then I put on my tux, I went out and I did my stuff. I got paid well, went back to the hotel, you know, had a few drinks with the guys, do it again. It was a great opportunity without the pressure of having a personal investment of, you know, I didn't need the job, you know what I mean? If it only lasted 1 week, then that would have been great. And there's a difference of when you need something or when you're offered something as a side, you know, something extra. And this was something extra, and it lasted 5 years, and I had a blast doing it. And you know, they certainly have had their ups and downs. I was there when Hulk came in and Eric came in, and they tried to go head to head, and lightning doesn't strike twice. But
do you think that was their biggest mistake?
They had to try it. It worked once, and they had to try it. In hindsight, it didn't have a shot, but you got it, you know, because you keep saying, you keep saying, okay, if I only had Kurt Angle, we might be able to make something out of this. Then you get Kurt Angle. Well, if I only had Hulk Hogan, then we can make something out of this. Well, then Hulk Hogan comes, it gets a little bit. Well, if I only had Hulk Hogan and Ric Flair, and then if I only have Hulk Hogan, Ric Flair, RVD, Mr. Anderson would do. And it's working a little bit, but it's not all coming together like you planned. The ultimate is, if we could only go live head to head. That was sort of like the last chance of trying to really compete. I think they realized after that they were a secondary product. They were trying to become true competition. And I think after they went head to head and it didn't work out, I think that's when they realized, you know, it's okay if you're profitable being a secondary product. You know, WWE has grown so big now that nobody's going to be able to tackle them like WCW did for a while. But, you know, you run out of, if we only had fill in the blank, and they had to try it, and it didn't work. I still think if they were still on Spike TV and they didn't blow that deal, things would have been better. I don't know the ins and outs. I do know that they found out Vince Russo was secretly involved somehow, and it upset some of the people at Spike, and I think that's where it really kind of fell off. And I wish the new management the best. You know, I know how it feels like to lose a job that pays for your family to pay their bills, but also that you love doing. So I never would wish anything bad on TNA or any other promotion.
And Jeff's back involved with TNA from
yeah. From what I hear as a consultant, good for him. I'm glad Dutch is back. Dutch is a smart guy, I hope they can turn the place around. They got new management. I think if Dixie wasn't so obsessed with being a character, that they might have had something there. Sometimes you could get too, and it's happened to the best of them. It probably happened to Eric as a character when he made himself a character in WCW as the head of the NWO. He got a little bit, going out. Look, like I said earlier, it's a ton of adrenaline to go out in front of 20,000 people and make them cheer you, boo you, whatever, and that could take over. And I think if Dixie would have stuck to doing what she does best, which is PR, I think that it could have worked out better, but I wish him best of luck.
Did you have any direct dealings with Dixie?
Yeah, she never did me wrong, I could say this now because, I don't ever like to kill any potential opportunity I might have down the road, even though I'm 50 and nobody's looking to hire a 50-year-old ring announcer. But, she wasn't my favorite person I ever worked for. She wasn't my least favorite. I wish her well. Again, I think that a lot of times in this business, and it even happened to me a little bit in the height of WCW, ego has a way of getting in the way of real life. And, there were some decisions that I made with old friends of mine when my ego got a little big that I lost touch with a lot of people for a long time because, I was this big, this guy on TV in a tuxedo that a couple of people actually wanted an autograph if I walked out of a building. And I traveled with Arn Anderson and Ric Flair and Chris Jericho. It gets to you. It gets to the best of you. And so I don't blame anybody for ever being in that position. And it's just, I know that you've been in the business a long time, and I'm sure you could probably say the same thing. It gets intoxicating sometimes.